Hello, how are you today? I want to talk about your guides, our guides, and how we can better relate to them. Firstly, we all have guides, and some of us have a few, and some of us have a lot. We also have guides that come in and out. You can talk to your guides all the time. It's important to talk to your guides all the time. They're with you, they're there for guidance, they're there to help you, and it's important that you actually speak to them. You don't have to speak out loud, you can speak telepathically, but the more you speak to your guides, the more you thank your guides, the more you connect to them, the better will be the conduit between the two of you. It's like an energetic strengthening of the relationship. Some people know who their guides are. They might go to a psychic or have some drawings done of them. However, most of us don't have a really strong sense of who they are. And so I suppose we're speaking to souls that we don't particularly think we know, but we do know them. We've been with them before. They were with us in the Garden of Remembrance, saying that they'd come down and work with us. I talk to my guides in the sense that every night I thank them for what they've done for me, and I ask them to help me with certain things. It's important to be clear. If you want help with some finances, ask them to help you. If you want help with a family problem, ask them to give you clarity and help you with that. If it's something at work that's troubling you, ask for help with that, and they will give you guidance. You'll get the feeling around it. For me, I always feel like they're on my left side. I don't know why, but I always do. So that's where I find my little group. And I speak to them and ask for help, and also give gratitude and thanks and blessing. For example, whenever I learn some new part of my work or something that's going to help me in my life, I always turn to them and say thank you, because I know that I asked and now they've given me the answer or helped me with it. Your guides will be there in your dream state as well. So if you want to speak to them, you can ask that they come in dream state. Sometimes we remember sitting with them, and we'll always wake up knowing something more if we've sat with our guides in dream state. When I read, I'm actually talking to the person's guide, in a sense, like it's my guides, but it's also their guides. So it's all of us working together to try and get the best guidance for the person I'm reading. You can actually speak to other people's guides as well. A lot of people don't realise that, but if you want to help your son or daughter, you can go to their guides and do a quick meditation and go in and ask them to help. Please help my son or my daughter with this or that, or please give healing. And you can ask the guides to give healing as well. They can give healing to you. They can give healing to other people. They're your guides. But the guides that you're talking to, someone else's guides, they can also give healing to the person they're guiding. So you can ask your mum's guides to help your mum. And you can also speak to the guides. We can share that world. It's not an exclusive thing that we can't speak, or we share the gifts that each guide has or has brought in to help us. So don't be shy to go and speak to the guides of other people. Guides are there as by their very name to help us and to guide us, and they're very happy, but they will not do it necessarily if they're not asked, because we have free will. And that's an understanding you need to have, that you have free will and they will never get in the way of your free will. So whatever you want to do, they might warn you, they might nudge you, they might even try and guide you, but in the end you will decide what you want to do and you'll do it, and they will not get in your way. Guides can also step away. I've spoken about that, and they will do that when they feel you're not listening, or they need to give you some space. They will also leave. Some guides can leave, particularly with some people, because they kind of, when sometimes I read, I can see them making this funny gesture like they're tearing their hair out and looking at me like, good luck with this one, because we've torn our hair out. We can't get them to listen. But they will actually never give up on us. And if you feel that they've kind of retracted, you can ask them to come back in closer. Usually they'll leave when we're being rude or we're not listening. The reason I've done this second one on guides is because it has a different part that I wanted to speak about, which is mostly the sharing of the guides, the talking to one another's guides. and the sharing of information. That's how readers read, because they share the information. You cannot control guides or tell them what to do. For example, you can ask them to, your son's guides or your mum's guides, you can ask them to help, but that will be a pact between them and your mum or them and your son. It's a request you're making, it's not a demand, and they will do the best they can. The guides have a very hard job, I believe, particularly with some individuals. Stubborn souls can be very difficult to work with. And also, if the person's come down to do some specialised work, they will have very high vibrational guides, particular ones, and also they will have new ones coming in to do the new work, because as the vibration gets higher, they might need now a new one to help them with something. There's a lot of interchange. You have your main ones, but then you'll also have these new ones coming in. You can also ask for more guidance in certain areas for you, but you can actually ask for more guidance in certain areas for someone else. So if someone is starting a project and you want to help, you can ask that some guides go to them and help them with the project, for example, artistic one or a musical one. So the musical guides come in or the artistic guides come in, and they will actually help that person to further the development of that skill. Guides are pretty wonderful to have. Most people don't really know they have them. They know that they exist, and they probably know there is a spiritual world. Even the ones who think it's all rubbish, they know that there has been talk about it. However, people aren't usually connected to the guides as much as they could be, and don't realise that it's a big pool, it's a big spiritual community that we can actually delve into and ask for help for ourselves, other people. Guides can also be asked to go to certain places in the world. You can ask that guides be sent to troublesome areas or after disasters. It's not just you has to do the work, you can ask them to do that as well. If you want to extend yourself spiritually, I suggest the strongest way is to make this connection stronger and stronger with your guides, because they are your connection into the spiritual world, and they are also the ones who will have a bigger view of the world, of your world, and see something that maybe you are missing. You can also ask that guidance and guides are there with the birth of a child to make sure that the birth is safe, or through an operation. You can send guides to operations and ask them if they'll be there in the operating room, or if you're away and you're nervous and you can't be with your child, you can also send a guide with your child, or to the hospital if you have to go home and your dad's sick in the hospital, you ask if a guide be left there. You can also ask the guide to go in the car when your kids first start driving. I did that, and I think it's a good idea to always ask for the guide. So they will actually pretty much help us with everything, as long as we're not being demanding and difficult. They also do form a great service in terms of protection. If you're worried about somebody dying and crossing on their own and you can't be there, or you're not able to be close in that family net at the end, you can ask for the guides to be sent to help them, put them in the hospital room, or if they're home, put them in their room close to them and ask that the guides are there to help them when they cross. Because many people are frightened when they're crossing, have a lot of fear about dying and crossing. So you can ask for extra guides to be brought in to help to soften it and to help with the crossing. You don't have to be in the same physical space to ask a guide to go somewhere. You can send a guide to America, and ask them if you've got an American friend who needs help, send a guide there. It's important that you understand that the world is very interchangeable in the spiritual world. And because there's no time and space, we can do lots and lots of things. Get close to your guides, speak to them, see when they do things for you and thank them, and strengthen that bond with them, because they've come to help you. This was a thing that both of you decided to do, And very often they're actually ignored by people down here because the humans don't tend to talk to their guides too much. And there's a lot of people who don't believe in it or just ignore them and they don't want to listen. So make sure that you aren't one of those people and that you form a strong and beautiful spiritual alliance with the guides that you have, and be grateful every day that you have them, sending you love and light.